is Damie, Sinanan. I'm the manager for competitiveness and export promotion at Caribbean Export Development Agency. There was a little error in the keynote. We are actually Caribbean Export Development Agency. So let me just share my screen very quickly. I have a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be very, very brief. I hope everybody can see my screen. The title of my presentation and my keynote address is Innovation and Growth Through Digitalization. Just a bit about Caribbean Export Development Agency. We were established in 1995, and we are the official trade and export and investment promotion agency of the 15 CARIFORUM member states. We are the lead agency for private sector development, and we work very closely with private sector firms, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises across the 15 CARIFORUM states in order to build their export competitiveness and their export capacity. We do this primarily through generous funding from the European Union through their European Development Fund, of which we are on the 11th iteration. Our vision, we just recently completed our new strategic plan for the period 2021 to 2024, and we have defined our vision as to be the leading agency that drives Caribbean economic transformation through private sector development. And we will do this by providing innovative and targeted initiatives designed to enhance Caribbean business growth, sustainability, and job creation. At Caribbean Export, we recognize the region is at a very pivotal point. Already before the COVID-19 pandemic, the region was very vulnerable to whether it be to economic shocks, whether it be to environmental shocks, hurricanes, and the like. But with the COVID-19 pandemic, these vulnerabilities were really laid bare. With weak economic growth, increasing external debt, the vulnerabilities are just so more pronounced, and it really impacts upon the private sector. And we know if the private sector suffers, then employment suffers, and then economic growth for the region has suffered. So what Caribbean Export has recognized is that we have to really put business at the center of the economic drive for the Caribbean region. So our strategic plan is firmly committed to building the innovativeness, adaptability, competitiveness, and access to finance for regional firms, so that they can recover, build resilience, employ more persons, particularly youth and women, and really rebound from the impact of this pandemic to take the Caribbean region. And I would want to quote my colleague from St. Eustace, who spoke on the previous panel, to take the region forward. We're not looking to bounce back, we're looking to bounce forward. I'll actually steal that line going forward. We do this through 3 strategic objectives. The first one, focus export development and promotion. The second one, focused on building the investment promotion capacity of the IPAs in the region to facilitate greater investment, and also to position the region as a preferred destination for foreign direct investment. Because we believe once more money is coming into the region, it can only benefit the private sector and promote economic development in the region. And our third objective is to support the services sector as the next frontier in Caribbean business. We reckon, and when we're talking about services, we're really talking about non-tourism services. We have to look at, services such as fashion, such as music, such as creative industries, animation, ICT. We see these services, professional services. We see these services sectors as key to driving economic growth forward in the region. So what I really wanted to speak about today was really embracing technology, digitalization, and e-commerce. Caribbean Export in our strategic plan recognizes that innovation and digital transformation are key to boosting productivity. Our businesses have to become more innovative and digitalize and take advantage of the new channels that are available in terms of e-commerce. What we recognize is over the last year and a half, many businesses were able to survive, and some even thrive, by making that shift away from traditional ways and looking to do business in a more online, digital way. In fact, we see more business. We have seen much of our clients put more websites, do more work in terms of really building their digital capacity, getting more access to online platform. And to do this, we have to really look at improving the investment climate in the region. We have to look at, see what can we do better in order to facilitate access to digitalization and digital business. Some obstacles that we need to overcome. I mean, I don't look at this with rose-colored glasses. We know that in the region we face certain challenges that are inherent that really act as a barrier towards greater innovation and greater digital. One of them is weak innovation and a weak innovation and robust digital ecosystem. We have to make sure we have the policies and procedures that can govern greater digitalization of business. We have to look at our connectivity issues. Do we have the right connectivity, bandwidth, and infrastructure to support full-time digital business? There's a lack of access to finance. Businesses need funding. SMEs need funding to really get into the digital sphere. So we have to realize, how can we make funding available to make sure that businesses can build websites, they can have distribution centers, and so on. We have to look at the high cost of inputs to production and inadequate supporting infrastructure, limited human resource capacity. How can we build the technical capacity of our resources, not only in business owners, but in our labor force as well? And many universities and so on are doing a great job doing that right now. And we have to look at the low uptake of e-commerce. How can we overcome some of the challenges, such as issues in cyber risk, data security, data protection, privacy? What can we do in terms of e-payment systems to facilitate digital transactions? And what can we do in terms of improving reliability in terms of logistics and supply chains? We all know shipping goods and services out of the Caribbean region is very expensive. I'm located in Barbados. If I have to send something to St. Lucia, I'm going to have to spend a lot of money. It'll probably have to go all the way up to Miami and come back down to St. Lucia, which reduces time, which takes too much time, and the costs are too high. When the rest of the world is accustomed to Amazon.com, where you can order something really realistically, order it at 8 o'clock in the morning and get it by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a competitive disadvantage to have to wait 2 and 3 days for an item and have to pay double or sometimes even triple the shipping cost. That will make our products and services uncompetitive. So what is Caribbean Export Development Agency doing in this particular area to help improve digital business and e-commerce in the region? We are expanding and enhancing partnerships. We recognize that we can't do this alone. We have to partner with other agencies who are doing the same thing in the region. The last thing we want is duplication of efforts and duplication of resources. How can we partner with agencies such as donors, such as the IDB, the World Bank, who are doing tremendous work in this area? We can enhance the work each other is doing to try to focus on the issues that I identified before. We have to look at capacity building in the areas of e-commerce. Do our businesses and do our small and medium-sized enterprises really understand e-commerce, the technical areas of it, and how to make it work? It's not just simply selling online. It's a whole gamut of services that can be offered online. Bookings and so on, for example. We have to look at building the capacity of e-commerce. And Caribbean Export, over the last year, in the midst of the pandemic, we ran a series of webinars, technical webinars, that focused on different areas in terms of e-commerce. We have to look at e-payment solutions. Caribbean Export has just commissioned a white paper to explore what are the different e-payment solutions that are available and what will make sense for small and medium-sized enterprises. So we can look forward to that publication coming up. In terms of distribution, we recognize, as I mentioned before, that shipping goods and services out of the Caribbean region can be very expensive. Can we do a feasibility study on a Caribbean fulfillment center? We have to look at the establishment. We are doing a feasibility study on a Caribbean fulfillment center to look at what is the best model so that we can fulfill and ship our goods, whether it be a warehouse in Miami, a warehouse in London. What would that look like? We are currently looking at establishing and supporting of an online marketplace. We recognize all over the world there are these online marketplaces popping up. And in the region, there are several that have popped up. But what are the keys to success for these online marketplaces that will make them sustainable going forward? We're going to be providing grant funding for technology adoption. Right now, we have an open call for grant funding whereby a firm can access up to 30,000 euros on a non-reimbursable basis to finance their technology adoption. If they want to build a website, if they want to look at improving their technical capacity, grant funding will cover that. And on the investment side, we have to build the investment promotion capacity in the region so that we can attract investment in the area of technology. Just last week, we held our Caribbean Agri-Tech Investment Summit, whereby we looked at attracting investors in the areas of agriculture technologies. And we have transitioned into promoting iGuides to the region to attract investment. And of course, we have to look at improving the ease of doing business. How can we make doing business easier in the region for small and medium-sized enterprises so they can adopt technologies and really adopt these technologies and do more work in the area of e-commerce. So I'll stop there. I know it's a short 10 minutes and I went through it very quickly, but thank you very much. I'll be happy if there are any questions that pop up. I'll be happy to take them and answer